Before moving on, this isn't ready for prime time. We just typed this onto the page. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time learning about the holy trinity of typography, kerning, tracking, and leading. But for right now, what's important is we do a little bit of kerning. We're going to spend a lot of time learning about kerning with typography. But for right now, let's double click on this T in order to accept our type. Before we do though, I'm hold down the space bar and the command key in order to get my magnifying glass and make this as large as possible because you don't want to work small when you're doing this. So I'm going to double click, and then the spacing between these words is a little extreme. So I'm going to click there, and inside the type panel, this is tracking the space across all characters. This is kerning, the space between two characters. And we can set this manually by saying, hey, what does -10 look like? And it tightens it up a little bit. Or we can use our shortcuts. I'm going to hold down the Option key and tap on the left arrow in order to bring this closer. And as I'm looking at it, that AS, I'm going to hit the left arrow without the Option key in order to move that cursor. And I can tighten up that S just a little bit. Come over to using the arrow keys once again in order to move and tighten that up. Come over here to the L. You can see that jumps in between the L and the I. Right there's the L. And I'm going to hit Option left arrow to tighten that up a bit. And maybe one more there. And then jump down the LI. Come back here. Now the problem is the dot on the I. We can't pull this I in as far as it needs to go unless we eliminate that dot. That we can do in Illustrator. It's not that difficult. I could show you how to do that. But right now, we're just going to pull this in and get it tight right there. And that'll work. Then we can also click to move. I'm going to close this character panel and scoot this in. And in between the I and the T. This I'm going to open up, so Option right arrow. And I think 2 would be too much. It's not bad. And if you want to fine tune it, you can always come in here, and this is jumping 20 pixels at a time. So if we want, we can just highlight this and use the down arrow to move it closer. See, that moved it by 10. What if we could also say, hey, 35. And we can kern and try to get this just right. Okay, move cat. You can't stand between me and the screen. That's too much. But for right now, let's say that's as we like it. I'm hit Command minus. I want to see both sides of this. Now it's a little small. So we can double click and then come up to the size right here and scrub just slowly, watching where we are, watching how this looks. And then can come out here. See how I've got the cursor? Come out here outside and I can move this and say maybe just a little more. And this goes on and on and on. Getting your type just right is an art. It takes patience. And let's just say for right now, that works pretty good. And the visual center, that's the mathematical center. The visual center might be a little different. You can use your arrow keys if you have the move tool in order to nudge this one way or the other. Okay, so that is how we get the title and do a little bit of kerning. And like I said, I might take this into Illustrator and get rid of that dot and tuck that IK in a little closer. But there you go. Have some fun with yours. Spend some time. Look at it. Look at the space between the letters. It's not mathematical. You notice this S is, and the And these two, well, if I get into this, I will get on a long rant. Right now, let's leave it like this and come back and start the rest of the text.